everybody, welcome back to SJG Perspective. Want to refresh this because it's not showing up, but it should be there. Thank you everybody for that. Let me start that over. Welcome everybody to SJG Perspective. Tonight I wanted to just do a quick video on Venezuela and what's going on there. I think we've gotten, I don't know, that's something where I feel it's all over the news. We're getting bits and pieces of it here. I wouldn't say we're getting bits and pieces of it here. If you're paying attention, it's in the news here. The Jussie Smollett and, you know, the Oscars and AOC and Diana Feinstein and all these other, you know, news blurbs have been going on. I think have been taking up some space. Speaking of the Jussie Smollett, really quickly, I wanted to give a shout out to An0maly. You're awesome. Sorry for bugging you so much. If you see this video, which you probably won't, but if you do, sorry for sending you so many tweets to get you to play my Jussie's Boy song. And if you guys haven't heard it, people need to hear it. If you're on my channel, you've probably heard it. But there was, I kept tweeting An0maly and a bunch of other people. Like my Twitter feed is filled up with a bunch of annoying, really persistent text to people because I wanted to get it out there and I didn't have, you know, I really didn't have any followers. I don't have any followers on Twitter because I just started it a few months ago and I haven't really promoted it. Frick, I hardly know how to use the damn thing. I'm such an old turd on Facebook. But Facebook sucks. I hate Facebook. Facebook sucks a dick. It really does. It's Zuckerberg for a reason, man. They shadow ban the shit out of me on there. I can post something and, or maybe my friends just that are on there hate me. That could be too because I can be apparently annoying, but, or they must just get sick and tired of my rants and my opinionated, you know, stances on things and my conspiracy phases that I've gone through and, you know, probably I've always pretty much stayed in, but anyway, I digress. So I was tweeting a bunch of people, but I kept tweeting An0maly, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, I'm going to wait for An0maly to have one of his live streams, right? And when it's kind of dying down, I'm going to hit him with the super chat, so he is forced to respond, and he did, and he was super cool, and he laughed, man. You guys should go back and watch it. But he laughed. He said, yeah, this guy was super annoying. But he did give me props about my persistence. And he ended up playing my tweet and or my my song, Jussie's Boys, which is a parody song to Jessie's Girls. Jessie's Girl by Rick Springfield, if you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's pretty funny. But, man, I'm overwhelmed now, too, with the Jussie Smollett thing. It's like, enough where I've kind of like enough already. Let's move on. Even though I wrote this song and I'm tweeting everybody with it. Maybe that's why I'm also so sick of hearing about it because I've been tweeting everybody trying to get it to move and take off. And it did. I gained like I don't know. I mean, there was like just since last night, I think I've gained probably 40 or 50 fans. Or subscribers. I don't know if you guys are fans. Some people that have liked it or even followed me on Twitter, I don't think so much are fans. I won't name names. But anyway, it was cool. Thanks, An0maly. I really appreciate the shout out. It meant a lot. And you're awesome, man. I really dig what you do and, you know, the stuff you talk about and your heart and the way you talk about it. So shout out to An0maly. Also wanted to shout out a few other people. Jericho Green, also, he was the first person to retweet it. If you guys don't know who Jericho Green is, it's Jericho_Green on Twitter. And then he has his YouTube page, Jericho Green. He's awesome. And then Shamika on Twitter also. And she's going to kill me. Where it's... yeah, I'm going to tell you hers too, because she also retweeted it and was awesome. Probably it's not like, you know, many people, if anybody's going to even care. I don't think I probably have many people watching anyways, but it's all good. This is more or less just me to do a video, but I do want to give credit where credit's due because I think that's the right thing to do, you know. Shamika Michelle, she also retweeted it. That was awesome. And I blew Crowder up. He probably never saw it. I threw it at a bunch of people. So anyways, go listen to it. I'll show you a quick screen clip of, well, let's just play this for a second. This was An0maly last night playing my playing my song, and it was just funny, dude, to hear him talk about it too. I think it's like right here. Let's see.
So if you wanna up your branding a little bit, I'm helping you guys out. Someone said thoughts on climate change. I'd really beneficial, but it would take us really researching and trying to learn, and then also trying to create, which no one unfortunately seems like they're trying to do.
That's where he sees it.
Someone said saw you at Conscious Life Expo. All right, shout out Ray. What's up? I got my head on. Yeah, I had a fun time, except for honestly,
38.
I was like, woman, feet it won't shatter. SJG Perspective said, thanks for the shout out, An0maly. You will laugh your ass off if you know the tune Jussie's Girl from the 80s. Yeah.
So right before that, I had sent it, and he was laughing that I had been so persistent to him. So then I shot him one saying, hey, thanks for doing that. I appreciate it. He said send it to him again. He would listen to it. And then
I know the tune, Jussie's Girl.
So now
should we play it? Should we go play your song now since you're... Trailblazer Bear, she hates Jesus, and you look like you triggered her.
So
LOL.
Me to tweet it to him.
Don't laugh at anybody. I don't think we can really go that. Never mean about it, and
okay, here we go.
He sold me on it. That's a good sale. You're good. But also, I do want to say too, B.O.B.
Okay.
B.O.B. did a GoFundMe. He was trying to build his own rocket so he could see how high he could go.
It was pretty awesome.
Dude, there's so...
It's coming
when it comes to space and stuff, there's so many holes.
Wait
Someone was telling me today we haven't gone past like 250 miles or something. I don't know what the number is, but like say like the moon was like...
Actually, normally we've gone as far as 400, the farthest out, but our medium average is about 200 to 300. Like the space station and the shuttle and whatnot. I don't know. I just thought, pretending like we're talking. If we were talking, that's what I would have told you, but you're right. Actually, and on that point... whoever's watching, you need to go watch some of this episodes I've been doing on Wagging the Moondoggy, because that is, you know, I talk actually about what An0maly's talking about right here, and it's pretty interesting. We have only the farthest recorded we've gone is like 400, but the medium average is between 200 to 300, and so yeah, it's true stuff, and he speaks the truth on this. So, anyways, moving on.
Thousands, I don't know how many thousands of miles, tens of hundreds of thousands of miles. I don't know. But he said, like, since then, we haven't even gone 250 miles north.
Yeah.
I don't think we can really go that far. Like, people are like,
we can't.
Why haven't they gone to space?
Yeah.
You know, the point I'm getting at is, I don't know.
I think there's space, right? I just don't know. I'm starting to like, how far actually have we gone, right? And all these pictures of the moon rover or the Mars rovers and stuff, I'm starting to question some of that too. I'm not saying that it is fake. I'm just saying I question that. I there's no fucking doubt in my mind we didn't go to the moon. That's bullshit. But I'm starting to question what they're telling us about space. I don't think we live in a globe. Or excuse me, I do think we live in a globe. I don't think we live under a dome like the flat earthers believe. But I don't mock. I'm not out to like totally tear down flat earthers. I don't subscribe to it, and I just think it's too easily debunked. And I watched that Netflix special, and although the Netflix special definitely was skewed to make them look like crazy loons, but I was trying to look past that because I knew Netflix was going to do that. And I still was like a little, oh, you know what? This whole time, I'm such an idiot. I forgot to switch over, didn't I? Yeah, that's embarrassing. I wonder if I should probably have to. Oh, there he is. Well, anyway, I'm an idiot. Moving on. I just wanted to have him play this. So this is just a fun stream tonight. Anyways, moving on.
What's going on particularly? I'm not, it's not my main thing to figure out. I'm not that interested in it. But one thing is clear to me is like the whole narrative is a total lie. So it's like people are like, duh. I'm like, it's not like you can make fun of me or something, but I know it's a lie, and I'm not sure what's going on, but it's not like worth my time. All right, this is this guy. He said Jussie's boy. He has a Jussie Smollett tribute song. He tweeted me 3 times. It was kind of annoying me, but he was really nice and respectful here, and he super chatted. So we're gonna play it because that's what happens when he wasn't ever mean about it, and
that's right.
He sold me on it. That's a good sale. You're a good salesman.
We'd be buddies.
Here it is.
I'm not mean. I love how he gets into it.
With some MAGA hats bleach. patience intertwined. And the waiting out and out because he ain't too hard to find. Cause he's gonna get into a humongous freaking mind. And they're watching him lead subway. And they're waiting for that spot without cameras, I know it. And they're staging this hoax late at night. It's a fake hate crime by Jussie's boys. A fake hate crime by Jussie's boys. Where can I find a dream like that?
He said, where can I find dreams like that? That's the best line so far. Let's go.
It's just he wanted his salary to change. You know he felt jealous cause Terrence Howard got paid more. He'll do a temper tantrum so they showed him door. So he thought he can cut the line. The media will push his narrative, just knows it. So he called 911 late at night.
It's good, brother.
It's a fake crime by Jussie.
I'm so glad he liked it. It's cool. I'm so glad all you guys have liked it and you retweeted and liked it. I appreciate it. It was fun to make. He didn't play it all the way through, so if you didn't listen to it all the way through, you listen to it.
That's a good one. That's good.
I do not believe it. It's the truth. Jussie has lost. He's lost the fight in the court of public.
CNN, CBS, NBC.
My man, well done. You're right. I just retweeted it on Twitter now. That's a W. I retweeted it for you too. That's funny. He said, where can I find Nigerians like that? That's good. Well done, brother. That's how you get it done. That's creative. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, the Don Lemon, bro. It's so funny.
So anyways, that was my highlight last night. That was, oh shit. God, I gotta get better at fucking knowing what I'm coming in, don't worry. Sorry about that. I hit the wrong button. My bad. Anyway, that was oh yeah, there I am back up on there. Anyway, so that was fun, and I appreciate An0maly and everybody else on Twitter and all the new followers I got. I'm like at 10, so it's not like the end of the world. It's not like a big deal, but to me it was a big deal. And you know, the cool part is when before I shared it, I think it was at about 160 views, and now I'm pushing 500. That's minorly viral for me. Okay, I just started this channel, I don't know, a couple months back, few months back, and I'm just having fun with it. So anyways, moving on. Okay, I wanted to talk a little bit about Venezuela, and hang on here, I want to find out. Yeah, I wanted to find out, or I wanted to talk about Venezuela a little bit. Oh yeah, sweet. Just got another hit on it, another like. That's awesome. Anyways, it was this whole thing that we've been sold on Venezuela from the perspective of the U.S. and our media. It's interesting when everybody agrees, when you have the left and the right agreeing that we should be doing what we're doing in Venezuela, then you've got to take a step back when there's no dissent, no real pushback or dissent on it. These people who hate Donald Trump get on board with him with Venezuela, or get on board with him with Venezuela, and say, yeah, we need to go in there. I mean, you have like Marco Rubio, for instance. He's a supporter, obviously, of Trump, but well, to some extent. But he just tweeted out, or he just made a statement basically saying, U.S. Senator Rubio tweets picture of Gaddafi's murder as a threat to Maduro. Can you believe this shit? This is where I don't get it. Yes, I'm a conservative. In fact, I need to pencil out what I am, because I don't freaking know what I am. I know I'm not for global wars. I am for a free market. I am for small government. I am for lower taxes. I am for immigration control. I am for, building the wall. I'm all for that. I'm all for immigration, but do it legally. People who say there's not a crisis, I would disagree with you. Has that gotten blown out of proportion in some regards? Possibly, but why do we need a crisis to say we need a wall? Why do we need a crisis to say, hey, you need to legally come in to the United States? I think the Republicans have pushed this actually worse than anybody, or done nothing is a better way to put it. I think they've more done nothing on it when they had all the chances in the world to. And I think a lot of their supporters like the fact that there's really cheap labor, damn near slave labor that they can take advantage of. And I'm not going to claim I'm the most versed on all the economic effects of having illegal immigrants in here, and if they were all, if you got that under control, then what that would do to food prices, or what that would do to, goods and services. And I don't know. All I know is I believe you should have to be a citizen to vote. I believe that you should have, it makes no sense illegals can vote. And I don't know how many full-on illegals, but I know there's a lot of states where all you need is a driver's license to vote. That's ridiculous. I think it's absolutely transparent that the Democrats don't want Trump to get the wall, because it would be a win for him on his campaign. Yes, he said that Mexico was going to pay for it, and they're not. And he said a lot of blustery things, but I think that he is genuinely wanting to it isn't just for the campaign. It absolutely has a campaign aspect to it. But I don't think it's just because of that. I think he legitimately says, hey, there's a problem here and we need to do what we can to correct it. And for that, I applaud him. For him going into Venezuela, and I will also say this before I get to, saying I don't agree with him. I think it's great that he came out against the establishment and everybody and said, hey, we need to pull out of Syria. And again, in that scenario, all of a sudden, all these, these people that are supposed to be not, against war, right? The Democrats and all this that in the past kind of systemically would be against war. And it's always been like the conservatives or the Republicans that have always been, I would say, coined as, or described or pigeonholed as the ones who want to go to war, which isn't, I don't think, a fair characterization across the board. But all these Democrats who say we're against war, they're like, how can you can't leave Syria? Yeah, we can leave Syria. Where the frick are we even there? Give me a break. And if you guys can't see the parallels between... so before I go on, so I was really excited. I did a video on it. I was really happy Trump was pulling out of Syria. I thought it was a great idea. And then he hasn't done it yet. And I did say in that video, whether or not he does it, that remains to be seen. But I mean, Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, Somalia, Yemen, you name it. Right? We're all over the place supporting wars and involved in some regard. I think it's great what he's doing with North Korea. I thought it was terrible, the tweets he was sending old Kim back in the day, but apparently he kind of knew what he was doing. I was like, damn it, when he was saying that, I was like, you dumb shit, why are you saying this to them? And I've thought his foreign policy and his diplomacy is shitty at times, and listening to him talk drives me crazy because he repeats himself and he does sound like a doofus, but I'm starting to think he's not as much of a doofus as I originally always kind of pictured him as. And I support him now. He's our president, newsflash, and I want him to do really well. And some of the things he's doing, I like. I like that he's calling out the media. I like that he's not politically correct. I like all of those things. I like that he's a freaking master troll. I love how he spins, gets the freaking left so spun up, because he's just, a lot of the stuff he's not. He does it to push their buttons a little bit, but it's also just common freaking sense that he's standing for. But anyways, all those things that I like about him, and like I said, I'm supporting him. So for all my Trump, the Trump humpers and the people that just absolutely love him to death, and you've got to be honest though, man. And that's one thing, like talking about An0maly, that I think I appreciate about, he kind of he was kind of somebody who I'd stumbled across months back, and I watched some of his streams and his videos, and I was like, I like this guy. And he made me pushed me, because I, for the longest time, wanted to start a YouTube channel. I thought, I'm getting too old. And, but I always wanted to do like a podcast, and I was like, fuck it, I'm going to do it. And he was kind of a push for me to do that. So I've been following him. And then, anyways, one thing I like about An0maly and what he talks about is yeah, he has a lot of conservative values, but he was a big Bernie supporter back in the day. And people are like, what do you mean he was a Bernie, now he's all for Trump? Well, it's because he's honest, and he can honestly say there's these things that he's doing that I think are great, and when he does something I don't think's great, I'm going to call it out. And he's a pretty honest guy, and he's willing to have somebody respectfully talk with him that disagrees. And he just seems like a really chill guy. But anyways, he kind of pushed me to start my channel. And so when it comes to Trump, there's a lot of stuff he's doing that I support him and I like him on. I do not agree about Venezuela. I do not agree about this at all. This is ridiculous what we're doing. Absolutely ridiculous. And if you can't see the parallels between Libya and before that, Iraq, and then Libya, and then Syria, and then what we tried to do back in 2002 in Venezuela, and how we just demonized them. If we can't see the parallels in those, and there's one interesting thing that kind of ties all those together, is oil. It is true, guys. We cannot deny that. Now, to what degree, I am not an expert on this. And there's going to be a lot of people that say, a lot of conservative people that call me out on this, say, you're an oil hater, blah, blah, whatever. No, but the fact of the matter remains, when people don't want to use the petrodollar, bad shit happens to them. That's what happened with Gaddafi. He had talked about going away from the petrodollar. That's one of the things. I'm sure there was others. I'm not trying to say it was the only thing, but I'm saying it is a major thing that doesn't get much play in the media. You talk about Gaddafi. Gaddafi also was going to go away and didn't want to use the petrodollar. If you don't know what the petrodollar is, check into it. I did another video on it. I'm also not a professor in the petrodollar, but I know enough about it to be dangerous, and you should too. And then I started calling this out before any of the Venezuela stuff started hitting. One of my videos before, like a month or two before the whole thing with Venezuela started to blow up, I'd made a video, hey, keep your eye on Venezuela. And prior to that, I had been talking about it on my Facebook all the time, like what we're doing, and we're going to be going after, you mark my words, we're going to be going after Venezuela, because Venezuela about a year ago said we're getting away from the petrodollar. We're moving away from the petrodollar. We're not going to use it anymore. We're going to use the Chinese yuan or yen or whatever the fuck it's called, and or the rupiah or the ruble or whatever is the strongest. We're gonna try to use it. Let me see here. Yeah, my stream is not going. It's clicking right now. Sorry about that, guys. I'm having a little bit of problem with my internet connection. Looks like it's kind of going in and out, but the video should probably be okay. Anyways, we have absolutely... It does have much to do with oil and the petrodollar. And what we're doing in Venezuela, there is no getting around it. It's wrong. It's absolutely messed up and wrong, and I cannot get behind it and cannot support it. And you're getting propagandized. The American media is feeding you propaganda. And if you haven't taken the time to say, okay, all the U.S. mainstream media outlets are saying how terrible Maduro is and how terrible of a leader he is, and how much we need to go in there and we need to depose him and we need to take care of him and we need to. He's humanitarian issues, man. He's being terrible to his people. Blah 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 blah. The same thing was said about Gaddafi. The same thing was said about Saddam. The same thing was said about Bashar al-Assad. The same thing is said, and it's like the talking points are almost damn identical. When a country doesn't want to play nice to us and doesn't want to play by our rules and is trying to buck the system or go away from us, we demonize them in our media and we make them the boogeyman and we go after them. China and Russia, back in 2011 or 12, they really got serious about coming together. I remember reading the articles when they were starting to establish some economic trade and some different economic alliances together, and they were doing it solely to not be so susceptible to to the American sanctions and to if we got pissed off at them, what we could do to them. So they started establishing their own alliances together. And look now how bad it's gotten with our relationship with China and Russia. And I'm not defending China or Russia, don't get me wrong. They're also very authoritarian countries that are not necessarily good to their people. But they're also not the terrible, bad boogeymans that we say they are. the whole thing with Trump, man, and the Russian collusion. Guys, there's not going to be any Russian collusion. Get over it already. Let it go. It didn't happen. It didn't happen. This INF treaty that we are pulling out of, and we're demonizing Russia is why we say we're pulling out of it. Well, Russia has some valid points also on that of why they aren't playing ball like we're requiring them or telling them they need to be, and that's because we've been surrounding them for many years all around their border with our troops and with our missiles that we're not verifying what those kind of missiles are and what they're capable of. We're saying, Russia, you're not verifying the missiles and what they're capable of, so we're pulling out. Well, we've been doing that to them for quite some time. Russia's had a whole beef with us, goes back years, saying, hey, we don't like you putting these missile shields in Poland and all over in these, Eastern European countries surrounding us. And just recently, today maybe or yesterday, there was an article saying that we are on the verge of another Cuban Missile Crisis because Russia's going to be like, fine, if you're going to keep pushing this, we're going to push back. And how would we feel if Russia started surrounding the United States in Cuba or in Venezuela or in Canada, even though it would never happen in Canada, but just use that as an example. If they were to put all kinds of these missiles surrounding us and they wouldn't let us verify what kind of missiles they are, what they're used for, or whatever, and we had the fear that they could be nuclear tipped or they could be the capabilities or could be more than what they say they are, we'd be pissed about it too. So it goes both ways. But getting back to Venezuela, if you want to know both sides of it, you got to try to look at both sides of it and then some stuff in the middle and try to figure out what the real kind of story is. And you'll never, the establishment and the like Owen Benjamin says, the wizardry out there is so overwhelming that sometimes you can never fully know. But we're not being told the full story is my point. Okay, getting to some of these articles. Marco Rubio threatening the tweet says, sick and twisted, U.S. Senator Rubio tweets picture of Gaddafi murder as a threat to Maduro. What the hell is that? That is unbelievable to me. It's like, well, it's not unbelievable, but it's like pretty damn ridiculous. It's funny because WikiLeaks says, because nothing says human rights like gloating over a human being sodomized to death with a bayonet, right? Marco Rubio, I am not a fan. I'm not a fan at all. Here's another one from RT. Maduro says Maduro's days are numbered in Venezuela, Pompeo warns. Pompeo warns. I get lost for words on this because think about what we're doing, guys. Now, I know we're saying there's a humanitarian crisis. They're not having any food. They can't get toothpaste. They can't get, they can't get any services or what they need. Why is my computer's going really slow? Well, interesting on that. There was a, sorry about this. Let's watch this video. This says a lot instead of reading the article.
In the outskirts of Caracas at a food market where food is being sold below market value, subsidized by the city of Caracas, overseen by the mayor of Caracas. And you can see behind me is toothpaste, which CNN has said does not exist in Venezuela.
And what is on the plane are basic goods, things that aren't available or accessible in Venezuela. Things like nutritional biscuits, toothpaste, toothbrushes, just basic commodities that aren't available. Or
so we all these, I've seen these pictures of baby, like these starving babies with their puckered up butts and all these things on, like some on Twitter and some other places. Guys, you're getting our media here is just brainwashing you to say, oh man, there's such a humanitarian crisis and Maduro's terrible and socialism did it. I'm not a fan of socialism. I'll put that out there right now. But socialism, the socialism or the socialist society there, I'm sure has played into the fact that they're not doing great. But you want to know what else has played into the fact they're not doing great? Wait for it. It's sanctions, because they don't want to play by our rules. So we're like, okay, we're going to sanction you. And when they said we're going to drop the petrodollar a year ago, I knew shit was going to heat up really quick with that, because our economy and our livelihood depends on it. So I'm torn because I know it sounds terribly selfish. I don't want the petrodollar to fall because then our economy is going to go totally like blow up. But they were going to drop the petrodollar and figure out another currency and another way to trade their oil. And they're sitting on the most oil in the world, allegedly. Moving on.
Or readily available to Venezuelans right now because of the regime that they're currently living under.
So, I mean, here you have all the basic foodstuffs, pasta, flour. They're focusing on protein here, so you have a fish stand, and it's being sold well below market rate, as you can see from the prices. This is salted fish.
Prices, but
¿Puedo probarlo? Tengo hambre, entonces.
That's what I would say.
It's pretty good. It's really good. And here we have ground up chicken.
I gotta throw up.
Made in Venezuela, which is being sold for about $1.25.
That does look gross, though. He said that was ground up chicken. Where is the ice? That's what I want to know. Where's the ice?
Or 3,800 bolivares. And then over there are packages, large packages of meat. And back here you can see all the vegetables. And also what you can see are train tracks, because there's an actual metro system in Caracas that services this community. The infrastructure is actually pretty decent. There goes a train. Caracas is a massive city with a massive metro system. And you can see that train is full of people, and it's basically free. So sardines and vegetable oil here, more protein. And
but again, how
this
much
is the bread stand. It's really cheap.
With us messing with them.
So it's being sold.
I don't
The big,
I want to know more.
the large breads are being sold for 2,000
see
bolivares, which is less than $1 for all that bread.
As you can see here, guys, the mainstream narrative has been that they don't have food, they don't have toothpaste, they don't have toilet paper, they don't have anything. And Maduro is starving his people. And as you read some more of these articles, the opposition is the minority. They're not the majority. The majority are supporting Maduro. Maduro's not letting food in because he's saying, hey, I don't trust these aid trucks that you allegedly are bringing in because I think they're going to have arms, and it's a precursor to a military invasion and a military action against us. So he's standing up for his country, and we're saying to him, you were the duly elected leader. Now, whether or not you want to say those were just elections, they had international, international observers there that were watching it, and it was a free and fair election. And the opposition party was the one that was doing the intimidation at the voting. It wasn't the other way around. It wasn't Maduro's forces that were intimidating people to come out to vote and saying you better vote for Maduro. It was the other way around. That's the facts. Look into it. The facts are you're being lied to, because the opposition against Maduro, who has been infiltrated and backed by the U.S. government and the U.S. agencies, that was those were the ones trying to interfere with the election. It wasn't Maduro's side. So regardless of what we think about their country, or we think about their politics or their democracy, or however you want to look at it, Maduro was the duly and legally elected ruler of that nation. And now we're going to come in and say, we're going to make up all these reasons, and we're going to come in and say, we don't want you. You're not playing ball. So we're going to back the Ivy League trained and educated Juan Guaido, who more than half of the people of Venezuela didn't even know who he was. And all of a sudden, he's going to be the president. We are only going to recognize him. We are telling another sovereign nation who we're going to recognize as their leader. Imagine if other countries did that to us. I know the left would probably love it. They'd be like, please, Russia, please. We pretend like we hate you, but we'll like you if you will say that you don't like Trump or China or whoever. Came in and said, hey, we're not going to recognize Trump as a leader. It's Pelosi. Pelosi is the now leader. And then they started to help and wanted to give us aid. And we're trying to bring aid in from Canada. Do you think we just stand by and let the Russians bring in all this aid to our country? Do you think our government would do that? No, they wouldn't. They would protect their borders. They would protect from another state trying to influence and overthrow the duly elected government. That is what we're doing. We are supporting an overthrow. It's called a coup. We are supporting that. And it's wrong. And we shouldn't be playing God, and we shouldn't be playing police of the world to all these nations out there. It's wrong. It's messed up, and I don't get how we justify it. We'll see what this article's about. My computer is taking forever. It's like really going slow. It's pissing me off, actually. This one here. Let me see here. Yeah, this one here talks about they attack civilians. They are not heroes. Journalist recounts trampling by Venezuelan defectors. There's a lot of these articles, and I would encourage people, go read some, I'll just call it what it is. Go read some the Russian side of it, right? RT News. Oh, that's state-owned. Well, you don't think our country or our media institutions are primarily state-owned? They're big money-owned, and they're the ones behind. They are the establishment, part of the establishment, and that in the military-industrial complex, which I believe is kind of all big together. I don't know exactly how deep that rabbit hole is, that wormhole is, but it's deep. But we're being propagandized. That's my point. That's what I'm trying to make you see and understand. Here's another one. Was this one about this, or was this another thing I wanted to touch on? God, what is taking so long? Oh yeah, that's a climate change deal. I want to play this real quick. Crazy old Uncle Ron. I love Ron Paul. And this guy, I don't know.
Folks out there who would actually say that are
So I don't know where this dude's stance is, but I just wanted you to hear what Ron Paul had to say. And this was back, I don't know how long ago he gave this interview. It was a while back. Maybe he's going to tell us. But listen to what Ron Paul has to say.
Intervention in Iraq had to do with monetary policy. Because going back to 2000 or 2002, Saddam Hussein was talking about getting out of the petrodollar system that Nixon set up when he took us off the gold standard, getting out of the petrodollar system and selling OPEC oil for euros, which had been created not too long before that. Then, folks also say this is the same thing that happened in Libya with the gold dinar that Gaddafi wanted to set up, and then we started bombing and removed him from power. So do you think that there's any legitimacy to that claim, or do you think that we invaded for other reasons?
Well, I think that was the major reasons. I think
finances
always are the major.
I don't know, like I said, I don't know why this is up here. I don't know if this is a video. I haven't done my research on this Primo Nutbag 135. Maybe he hates libertarians and Ron Paul, but regardless, listen to what Ron Paul has to say. It makes so much sense.
Major part of it in our control. We have an empire, and it's not the old-fashioned kind, but we control people, and as long as these vicious dictators do what we tell them, they're our friend. If they want to change their rules, like Hussein did and Gaddafi, then we turn on them and we have to get rid of them. But I think this is even some of the problems going on with China right now. China's what they're doing exactly what you said that Iraq and Libya was doing, is threatening to have another currency. They want to have a gold yuan and buy and sell oil with a different currency. And of course we're threatening China all over. We're not saying why don't we correct our own problems and solve some of these problems. We just go and threaten other people. But I think this is a sign of the failing of the dollar, and you shouldn't, if you have a sound currency, you don't have to beg and plead and force people to use it. They would want to use it. So this is I think a something that goes on all the time, and I think we do want to protect the dollar because it gives us tremendous benefits. If it's dethroned and it's less powerful as a reserve currency than it was 10 years ago, and if it's dethroned, it's going to be a big deal. It's going to really hurt our economy, and we're going to have a lot more inflation, and interest rates are going to go up. So we should anticipate that day.
That right there is why we don't you know, that right there is why we go after people who don't play nice. I think Dr. Paul said it awesome. And there's so much more I could say on this. I didn't even mean for this video to go 40 minutes long, so I'll probably get people watching 2 minutes of it. So whatever. I just wanted to put one up. But it is absolutely true that the reason we're doing this, it has very much to do with oil. And the story you're being told about humanitarian aid and, you know, humanitarian crisis, and it's a freaking, we're wagging the dog, man. It is absolutely the propaganda and the brainwash that our government and our media wants us to know. Everybody from Bernie Sanders to, you know, Bernie Sanders, Donald Trump, just about anybody, like Jimmy Dore. I don't agree with a lot of what Jimmy Dore has to say, but I really like his show and I like his perspective on stuff, and I like to watch him and listen to him. Go watch some stuff on Jimmy Dore on this. He's done some in-depth stuff that is really good. Anyway, open your eyes to what's going on in Venezuela, because it is not how the real story is not what we're getting. At least that is my perspective on it. And I am not claiming to know all things. I'm not claiming to be, you know, a professor on these sort of on all these foreign policies and all these things we're doing. It's just common damn sense, though. Who are we to go in and depose another leader just because? I think that's wrong. I support many things Trump's doing. I'm going to still support him as my president, but it doesn't mean I got to like everything he's doing. And I don't like this. I don't like it at all. Anyway, I hope you guys like some of the stuff I talked about. Sorry if I rambled a little much. It is getting late for me. I got to work in the morning, so I'm probably going to go now. But until next time, please like the video if you liked it. Subscribe to my channel and share it wherever you can, and if you want to. It's SJG Perspective, without fear or animus. Until next time, you guys have a wonderful night. Talk to you later. Bye.